Hello everyone, Insane Frame here, back with another video. In our last video we played Bar Harbor as the Silver Shroud, which was a lot of fun. And that got me thinking about the first Fallout 4 run on the channel, which was the T45 Power Armor run. So I thought, let's do another Power Armor run. So today's the question in which we ask, can you beat Fallout 4 in Raider Power Armor? Raider Power Armor is the weakest power armor in the game, and its stats aren't great, mainly because it only has 2 upgrade levels. This means it will be much harder than the T45 run due to its upgrades being very limited. But on the plus side, we only need steel to repair it, making it stupidly cheap to get up and running, and it's also more difficult to acquire. So this will be very interesting, especially in the early game, where fusion cores and caps are very limited. So with that out the way, let's quickly explain the rules. We can only use Raider Power Armor in battle. No glitches or exploits, no cheating or modding the game's files, and we're going to be playing on normal difficulty. We start our running character creation, and since we're going to have Raider Power Armor, we need to look like a Raider. It's in our best interest to have a few scars. Very beautiful. Nora really likes the bad boys. You go, Nora. Vault-Tec then call, they want our information, so we go ahead and name ourselves Rock Raider, which is a difficult name to uphold, especially in the LEGO universe. It would be very interesting if any of you remember that reference, but anyway, onto our stats. We have 3 strength, 1 perception, 6 endurance, 1 charisma, 10 intelligence, more on this stat later as I want to try something, 1 agility, and finally 6 luck. These are very good starting stats and spread fairly decently, if I'm honest. We then see the villain, which is our son, the piece of rocks that he is. We see the special book, but we make haste to the vault as the bombs detonate. Kellogg Cornflakes murders our wife, then takes the pile of rocks that is our son. Then we're released from our cryostasis into the vault, so it begins. Our first obstacle, since we can't attack in battle, is the rad roaches. It's not too difficult, and we even managed to lock one in with the cryolator, which gives us a pet rat roach, I guess. We lock the rad roaches out of the room and get the pit boy. Then open the vault, and once we can see daylight, it's time to get to work. Our first point of interest is getting ourselves a beer, so we find Trash Can Carla, and she gives us exactly that. We also grab the Grown-At comic in our house, so our criticals in melee do 5% extra damage. This includes unarmed too, which is good. Before we grab the special book, we drink the beer, so it debuffs our intelligence, and then we decide to use the book to up our intelligence whilst the debuff is active. We now have a total of 11 intelligence, which is really cool. Aren't we a clever clogs? But we need to find some Raider Power Armor, so we head out and we pick up Tales of a Junktown Jerky Vendor. Hope I'm saying it right this time, but this will help our trading prices. We cross the bridge to downtown Boston, and downtown is particularly dangerous as we have low agility, which means we have low action points. And to sprint you need to use action points, so not too good a combination. Anyway, the Boston Library is next on our list. The automated defences will do the fighting for us, so the intelligence bobblehead is ours, making a total of 12 intelligence, which is absolutely amazing. The mutants are looted and we get a level up since fusion cores are pretty expensive. Fortune Finder rank 1 is a good shout. This lets us find caps and containers, which adds up over time, giving us early game income without fighting. Piper then talks to Thin Air outside the Diamond City gate, and it then opens. We immediately go to the market buying some Rad-X along with some Radaway. For all it's worth, we also see Dr. Sun to flush out all the radiation in our system and then heal us, so we're ready to head out. It's pretty scary heading to the Glowing Sea this early on, as we're only level 2. It's very unforgiving, but we keep to our tactic of avoiding danger and running at first sight. It works really well, surprisingly. We also explore a few areas, then get to this cave where a full set of Raider Power Armor is supposed to spawn. But that wasn't the case here. Instead, we get a Power Armor suit, and we get a Raider head and a Raider chest piece. Not sure if luck wasn't on our side here, but hey, at least it's progress and we have something to work with, which is really good. As an added bonus, it also has a fusion core too, which is very useful, especially this early on. Whilst this is a great start, it does still mean we have to hunt down some more pieces, so we store our power armor in Sanctuary Hills for the time being. After wandering around for some time, we find a second set of Raider Power Armor. However, luck is definitely not on our side, as it's a head and torso piece. It also is bugged out, so we can't even loot it or get in it. All we can do is run away. Thanks, Todd. Anyway, we're starting to run out of locations available with Raider Power Armor, and since we can't fight without it, Raiders with Power Armor is out of the question, so we have to go with Plan B. We happen on a camp and manage to steal a fusion core, and nearby there is more armour, the T45 Power Armor. Not Raider Power Armor, however, but at least the fusion core is something. Anyway, we head south, avoiding all sorts of enemies, and we run into the Atom Cats to steal their fusion core. Then our prayers are answered as Rowdy actually sells Raider power armor. Honestly, I didn't know she sold Raider power armor. I thought it was T51 and T60 variants, but she does sell it, which is absolutely amazing. And to be wrong here is fantastic. Rowdy, you are a wonderful lady, and we go ahead and sell all of our stuff to buy the arms and legs of the power armor. Thankfully, it's the cheapest power armor available, but still, it cost us almost everything we have on us. We hightail it back to Sanctuary Hills with all the pieces acquired, and then we get to upgrade in our power armor, which is extremely cheap, as all it costs is some aluminium, which is absolutely brilliant. The disadvantage, however, is this is as good as it will get, minus the mods we can install later. But with our complete power armor set, we can go to the Museum of Freedom, which is hilariously easy as we just bulldoze our way through the raiders with ease. We meet the Minutemen, grab the Perception bobblehead, raising our perception to a total of 2, which is good enough. We talk to Preston and he gets angry at someone standing 8 foot tall in power armor. Not a smart move, Preston. We show him what we think, then just carry on. We grab all the valuable loot and have 2 level ups. We go for Iron Fist and Nuclear Physicist. Iron Fist gives our unarmed attacks plus 20% damage, which is really good, and Nuclear Physicist lets radiation weapons deal 50% more damage, but the important bit is it also makes fusion cores last 25% longer, saving on our cap. Once we land on the ground, it's pure chaos with fire, bullets and punching a Deathclaw, whilst Preston is trying to shoot us with his laser musket, making things very difficult. After letting the raiders get eaten by a Deathclaw and doing quite a nice portion of damage on the Deathclaw, we managed to beat it down. We return to the Museum of Freedom. Preston greets us as a friend after he was trying to murder us, the absolute psychopath, and he ironically gets really angry at us when we don't believe Mama Murphy's sight. We let him know how we feel about him as he tried to shoot us with lasers. We also level up and we immediately go for Fortune Finder rank 2, allowing us to find more caps and containers, and hopefully this perk being taken early on will help out with our fusion core troubles. We then repair our armor, only costing steel, which is the joys of Raider power armor. And speaking of raiders, we go to the assembly plant and beat back a bunch of raiders to get the repair bobblehead, allowing fusion cores to last 10% longer, which will really help with our fusion core troubles. It's very, very nice. Since we're also in Lexington, we go into the supermart and we beat back a lot of ghouls and get a few caps from all of their bodies and containers. We also go in the back room where there's another fusion core, making this all worthwhile, and a decent amount of caps to back it up. It's really, really nice, so thank you, Fortune Finder. After the Lexington supermarket is cleared, we head south to the Quincy Ruins. We find a sleeping bag and quickly sleep in it. We then head up a train. When we emerge, we see a gunner. We swiftly take him out and his buddy is also dealt with. Since a lot of gunners are closing in on us, we jump out the window and run to a nearby building. Once a section of gunners follow us, we then take them out one by one, weakening the camp. We go back to the sleeping bag, recover, then go in for round 2. So we sneak around and get to the rooftops to take a couple of gunners out, and a named character called Tessa has power armor like us. She's exactly who we're looking for, and we managed to make her follow us into the streets outside the base. We have fisticuffs with her in the street with her. It actually takes a couple of attempts as we break her armor, which is not what we want. And once we actually manage to beat her, we finally get the legendary piece of Raider power armor that we're looking for that has quadruple, yes that's right, quadruple the durability of a regular Raider power armor. It also has the mod Hydraulic Bracer, improving our unarmed damage by 15 points, which is definitely a plus. We then head to Diamond City and R2 has 4 fusion cores. We sell pretty much everything we have, but Fortune Finder is definitely helping us. We then upgrade Tessa's Fist to Welded, which is fantastic, and with our adventure to get Tessa's Fist, we get 2 level ups, and we go for Aqua Boy, so no more radiation in the water, period. We get a single point in strength. Not the most interesting perks in the world, but somewhat okay quality of life choices. Our armor is pretty decent at this stage of the game, so let's go get Nick Valentine from the Triggermen hideout. Once there, the Triggermen are absolutely no problem, and we manage to get to Nick really easily. Skinny Malone then reveals himself, Darla in tow, and we also say one of the best voice lines in the game.
Pat, you're ugly, and it's time you and your crazy bitch said goodbye.
We one-shot Darla, Haymaker Skinny Malone, and his henchmen are dealt with very easily. Selling most of our stuff, we make a decent amount of cash and also have 2 level ups. We go for +1 endurance, so we're a little bit more tanky, and then go for rank 2 into Iron Fist, making our unarmed attacks deal 40% extra total damage, and unarmed attacks now have a chance of disarming opponents. We then pay the Atom Cats a visit and find the unarmed bobblehead, so our unarmed attacks gain 25% critical damage. We talk to Zeke, who sends us to Rowdy, who then sends us to fix a pump. So we agree, we walk on the sea floor to get to a settlement, who are having trouble to fix the pump, we get it done, and then we go to the most interesting part. We go on the FMS North Star wreckage, which is right next door. Once we pay them a visit, we find another issue of Junktown Jerky Vendor, I know, take out the raiders and the security to get the agility bobblehead, making our agility 2, making it a good raid. Continuing on our trend of walking on the ocean floor, we go to an island as well, this time boarding a boat on the south of the island, and we find a fat man, and on the second floor of the boat we find a bobblehead, raised now luck to 8, which is absolutely wonderful. We report back to the Atom Cats once again, but the gunners begin attacking, and the attackers repelled very easily. Zeke thanks us and we level up. We go for Blacksmith rank 1, allowing us to fit the Rusty Knuckle mod on our Raider power armor. So every time we hit an enemy with that limb, it does bleed damage, so they take damage over time. Whilst not amazing, extra damage is extra damage, so it's good for what it is. Since we explored the glowing sea somewhat, we travel to Virgil's cave as well. We fight the Deathclaw outside, which we win, and honestly I just wanted to see if we could see Virgil at this stage of the game, and as it turns out, he's not present in the cave yet. Very interesting. Anyway, back to the main story. We sit in Nick's office and Ellie and Nick try to locate our son. They say Kellogg Cornflakes is responsible, so we go to his house and see the mayor's secretary. The height difference is actually hilarious here, but we bribe her nonetheless, and all is well. We go into Kellogg's house, find the switch underneath his desk and find the secret room. Nick then gets his specialist in and whistles for him. We go outside and it's none other than the fluffy doggo himself, Dogmeat, who for the record is a very good doggo. We unfortunately ignore Dogmeat, and head to Fort Hagen on our own. When we get there, we destroy the turrets and level up. We go ahead and get Critical Banker, allowing us to save a critical hit in bats. Going into Fort Hagen, we find an ammo box as well that contains 4 fusion cores, an excellent find for us. The armory is looted, the turrets destroyed, and we sleep to heal ourselves before we face Kellogg. This is honestly the easiest fight we've ever had with Kellogg, as we just charge in, hit him, use VATS and he's KO'd. The simps he's with are even easier to deal with, and that's that. We access the computer, see our son has been taken by the Institute. The Brotherhood of Steel then show up in the Pridwin, letting their presence be known. We reach the memory den with Nick, but sadly we have to exit our power armor. The memory sequence is fairly standard as we go through Kellogg's memories and discover Brian Virgil, a Institute scientist, has escaped the Institute. Once the memory sequence is done, Dr. Armani is concerned, but we immediately put on our power armor, all is well again. We're fine, we say goodbye to Nick and fast travel to Virgil's cave. He's here in the flesh this time, and he states if we want to get inside the Institute, we have to kill an Institute Corsair, which should be pretty easy. We also level up and get better criticals, so our criticals and VATS does 50% additional damage. Very good. In no time at all, we get to Green Tech Genetics. The gunners are fairly well prepared, using missiles and mines on us, which does unalive us a couple of times, but after that it's plain sailing, and the course was really easy to defeat thanks to Critical Banker and our hydraulic haymaker in his face. We get the Corsair chip along with our victory over the Corsair. After some quick and easy repairs in Goodneighbor, we head to the North Church. We get into the basement, easily kill a couple of ghouls, and then insert the code on the wall. Railroad. Desdemona is waiting for us, and she clearly hasn't had her Yorkshire tea again, people, because she really has a bad attitude towards us, and we're the ones wearing Raider power armor, so we forcefully teach them the errors of their way, of not drinking their tea and having bad manners. I'm sorry, Desdemona, but that wasn't a smart move now, was it? We get a level up for our troubles and go for rank 2 of nuclear physicist, so fusion cores last 50% longer, making a total of 60% with our repaired bobblehead. I think it's safe to say our fusion core worries are over. Virgil was happy to see us and gives us the schematics to build the teleporter to the Institute. We pay a visit to the Cambridge police station and see Paladin dance. He offers us an assignment which is very generous of him, and we accept. We also level up to level 15 and go ahead and get better criticals rank 2, so our critical hits and VATS now do double damage, which is really good. Our assignment takes us to ArcJet Systems. We beat a bunch of simps, find a fusion core, burn Paladin Dance to a crisp, kind of. Then get the deep range transmitter from synth personnel and make it outside. Dance gives us his laser rifle, which in all honesty will probably sell, and then offers us to join the Brotherhood of Steel, which we immediately accept. We then gather back at the station and have a meeting. Dance lets us know he put in a request to Elder Maxon to make us a knight. Then the meeting ends. We head to the basement for some repairs after all of that, and we also sell all the loot we've got and buy a few fusion cores, which is always nice to have. The vertibird awaits us, and once we're on board, we're on our way to the Pridwin. We disembark from the vertibird to the beautiful airship, and we even get the honour of meeting Captain Kells, who greets us. He orders us to immediately report to Elder Maxon. A few moments later, we're at the bridge, and Maxon is giving a speech to all personnel aboard the ship. We then follow our orders and report in to the High Command. Elder Maxon approves Dance's request, so we're promoted to knight and get our own T60 power armour, which we're going to have to sell, but it's okay because Caps are fusion cores after all. After getting to know the Pridwin, Maxon meets us outside. He wants Fort Strong destroyed, so gets a gunship ready for us to deal with the super mutants. It's a good plan, but we go ahead and jump off the side of the Pridwin and smash into the ground. We march in a straight line to the island, even the ocean can't stop us. Once on the island, we beat the living crap out of all the mutants and even find a really good legendary flamethrower, which sadly we can't use, but it'll fetch a nice price. With the super mutants dealt with, it's time for us to fight our nemesis, the super mutant behemoth. This is an extremely difficult fight and takes half a dozen of attempts, as we can't use a ranged weapon, only our fist. However, knowing we can't take the super mutant in a straight up brawl, we switch it up. We use hit and run tactics and make good use of our critical hits and VATs, and it's a very hard fought win, but we do manage it and we level up. With our previous level up and this level up, we go for 2 ranks of science. Since we're heavily damaged, we immediately go back to the Pridwin, upgrade our helmet with a red lamp along with its internal database, which improves our intelligence by +2, making a total of 14. With the legs, we upgrade them with kinetic servos, so our action point refresh speed is much faster, allowing us to use VATs more often, making use of our critical hits when necessary. Then for good measure, we just jump off the side of the Pridwin. Again, I don't think Elder Maxon and Captain Kells have had this in mind when they welcomed us aboard, but there we go. It's time to clear out Fort Strong itself. We get a legendary super mutant who gets a lot of punches into his face. The office also has some nice loot and a US covert ops magazine, making it harder to detect us, for all it's worth. We then use the lift, go to the basement, there's a bunch of mutants and mutant hounds. One of the mutants has a missile launcher. This does heavy damage, but we use the stairs, jump in front of him and use one of our critical hits to quickly solve the problem. After all that, Paladin Dance comes by and approves of our methods. Then we report to Elder Maxon with very low health. He congratulates us and states he wants to locate the Institute, so sends us to Ingram. Ingram then helps us build the teleporter is ready to go. Maxon then briefs us and wants Dr. Madison Lee recruited back into the Brotherhood of Steel. The teleporter gets us into the Institute, and I admit wearing Raider power armor is a little out of place in the Institute. But we level up and go for Iron Fist rank 3, improving our unarmed damage by 60%, and we now have a chance to cripple our opponent's limbs with our unarmed attacks. The Emmy Award-winning, Oscar-winning child synth is revealed to us, and he's right in saying he doesn't know us because he can't see our face. Father makes his entrance and he reveals he is our son, which is
bullshit.
After that conversation, we head to the abandoned section of the Institute, where we box an Assaultron, take out a couple of turrets, and make our way to Virgil's old office. We grab the holotape and we grab Virgil's serum as well. We go to Dr. Madison Lee, we use Virgil's holotape, she is swayed to our side and agrees to be re-recruited into the Brotherhood of Steel. Mission accomplished. We then might as well meet the division heads for free XP more than anything else. We get access to fast travel to and from the Institute. Father then says we need to go and reclaim Synth, which we have no interest in. With our splendid fast travel from the Institute, Ingram awaits us back at base. We give her the network scanner, get a level up, and go ahead and get critical banker rank 2, allowing us to save 2 critical hits and VATs. Excellent. Elder McNamara, just kidding. Elder Maxon lets us know Dr. Lee is being interrogated to make sure she isn't infiltrating the Brotherhood. We get sent back to Ingram, who shows us Liberty Prime, who, for all intents and purposes, is a military transformer, but is still extremely cool nonetheless. We speak to Dr. Lee, who we convince to work on Liberty Prime. Ingram is optimistic, so we're tasked with building some actuators which required high-powered magnets from a hospital. Since Dr. Lee is lending a hand, we go back to Virgil and hand him his serum. He's grateful, so that's pretty cool. We get some magnets from the hospital in a chest, then build 4 actuators back at base. Dr. Lee and Ingram say well done, but now want some pristine nuclear warheads, which is quite a step up, might I add. Setting the bar very high, they're located in the glowing sea apparently. We meet up with Scribe Halen, who has an outpost and gives us a distress pulsar. It's not long before we find a pyramid-like bunker, we jump in the tunnels, punch through a horde of ghouls, then do the same thing to the Child of Atom follower in the office, along with his Assaultron, along with his turret. We plant the gizmo in the nuke storage, go up the lift, and Ingram gives us the honour of powering up Liberty Prime, but then says that Elder Maxon wishes to see us. Elder Maxon has found out Paladin Dance is a synth, and it's our job to go and execute him under Maxon's orders. We speak to Prospector Quinlan, and we're interrupted by Scribe Halen. We meet with her at the bows of the ship. She says we need to hear Dance out, which we definitely will. It's not long once we get to Post Bravo, we meet Dance, and he wants us to uphold the Brotherhood. We get his side of the story, and he wishes to be executed to uphold the Brotherhood of Steel. So we do just that, which is pretty brutal. We collect his holotags and go back to Elder Maxon, who awards us the rank of Paladin, along with all of Paladin Dance's personal belongings, including his power armour, but we'll leave his power armour alone, out of respect more than anything else for Paladin Dance. He was a nice soldier. Maxon then gets us to report to Captain Kells, who wants the railroad dealt with, which should be really easy considering what we did earlier. We get back to the North Church, there are some railroad agents, but they are swiftly dealt with. Nothing a few metal punches can't handle, and our work earlier made this mission the easiest thing ever. We even managed to get Pam to come on board with the Brotherhood of Steel, so thank you Pam. Captain Kells congratulates us on completion. Ingram then calls and wants something called the Beryllium Agitator. We get a prompt to board the Vertibird and then get to the Mass Fusion building, where we awkwardly fly around as we can't use the minigun as per the rule. But eventually the Vertibird just goes on top of the roof, and then we bail out and smash synth faces in. We then get into the lift, and we can't really do anything because we can't shoot any of the simps, so we have to just sit and wait for the lift to arrive. But when it does, we go to town on the simps, and after the initial setback, the lift is restored and we go to the main lobby, fisticuff some more simps, and go into a second lift where it takes us to the reactor below. It's easy enough to grab the Beryllium Agitator, but once acquired, the security is set off. We charge straight for the sentry bot, where we tank a lot of hits, but we ultimately win out against it. And then 2 Assaultrons come through, Ingram gets one, we duke it out with the other, but Ingram manages to unalive both of them. Fair play Ingram, you are the NPC of this run. We leave beaten up but alive and sweep the main reception of any remaining sims. We then go to the nearby town of Good Neighbour for some field repairs and use our level up to get Lone Wanderer rank 1, given a flat reduction of damage by 15% and allowing a extra carry weight of 50. If I'm honest, we should have got this a lot sooner, but at least we have it now. Once back at base, we're given the honour of putting the Beryllium Agitator in Liberty Prime and starting it up with the big red button. Liberty Prime then goes for a walk to the CIT ruins, and it's an absolute laser light show here. When we get there, Prime makes his entrance in the ground. As the Rock Raider, it's our job to go first into the shaft. Once in, Elder Maxon gives us a pulse charge to blow up the reactor in the Institute, so we get to work and head into the old wing. This part is super easy due to the Brotherhood laser fire, we can just walk through no problem. The bioscience is even easier as the fight is so one-sided it's not even funny, and we barely do anything other than deal with a couple of personnel. The main plaza is just a cakewalk as the Corsair doesn't even stand a chance against the combined biopower, and neither do most of the personnel for that matter, but it's really satisfying just taking the Institute like a hot knife through butter. Speaking of which, we pay a visit to Father. Since we swiped his password earlier, we can access the terminal without even hacking it and shut off the sims and engage the security override. It's then time to end our son's reign. He gets what's coming to him by our own hand. Sorry, Sean. It's then off to advanced systems and we fight our way through. We get to the reactor, plant the charge, get teleported out and show up at the entrance with Elder Maxon. The child simp tries to go for a double Emmy but fails miserably when reality is explained to him. Ingram is disgusted at the Institute making child simps and we get teleported out. Pressing the button, answering the question, can you beat Fallout 4 with Raider power armor? The answer is yes, you can. Well done, Rock Raider. Well, that was a very difficult run in the beginning. I'm not sure if we just got unlucky or that we just weren't looking in the right places, but if it weren't for the Atom Cats, we would have been in a very, very tough spot. But it was absolutely amazing that they showed up when they did, and that they sold the power armor. Also, fusion cores weren't as bad as I initially thought, thanks to the Fortune Finder rank 2, because that really helped out, like, massively. Definitely recommend picking that up if any of you want to do a playthrough like this. It just adds up so quickly when you're just exploring around. However, by the midpoint of this, it got a lot easier thanks to the Brotherhood of Steel, so that was a lot of fun. And also, I just want to thank each and every one of you, because we've hit over 4,000 stubs, and I honestly haven't made the 3,000 sub special yet, so I kind of have to get a move on with that, but it's coming, don't worry. But hand on heart, I just want to say thank you to every single person. You make this job so enjoyable, worth doing, and it's absolutely amazing being able to do this. So thank you to each and every one of you. It is a pleasure and a privilege to do these videos. And I guess all I can say is, with that, like the video if you like what you see, subscribe if you're new, and I love hearing from each and every one of you, so comment down below, even if you just want to say hi or have an idea. It's absolutely wonderful hearing from you. Anyway, have a fantastic day. Thank you very much for watching. You guys are amazing. Have an excellent time, and this is Insane Frames signing out. Thank you everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.